¿Qué lo que mi gente? Yo soy Ricky de Bilingüe Vlogs, and today I'm going to be giving you the best resources to learn Mexican Spanish.
Oye, perro, ¿pero qué haces, güey? ¿Por qué quieres ser como nosotros, güey?
¿Pero qué es lo que tú dices?
No manches, escuchas la música de Peso Pluma una vez y ahora te crees parte de la raza, güey.
Yo aprendí el español mexicano primero, antes de aprender el español dominicano. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que tú dices, mi loco?
¿Neta?
Oye, yo estoy filmando, mi loco. Suéltame en banda, déjame tranquilo. Anyways, take notes, follow the pages I tell you to follow, and you'll be speaking Mexican Spanish like a pro in no time. Ya tú sabes. Let's go. Every single thing that I talk about in this video will be down in the description. There's a lot of resources. If you have any more resources that I didn't mention in this video, put them down in the comments below. Ya tú sabes. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We're gonna start with the YouTube channels. So there are two YouTube channels that I know that teach Spanish. One is specifically for teaching Mexican Spanish, and that's called Mex Talkie. You know, in school they usually teach you the Spaniard way. Well, I think on the Western Hemisphere, Mexico is kind of like the standard, I guess you can say. You'll hear it in the voiceovers in movies and things like that. So Mex Talkie is a really good YouTube channel to watch, but also one that I like. I always recommend this channel to my students, even if they're not learning the Mexican accent, and that is Spanish Playground. I love Spanish Playground because they pretty much make videos for you to listen to stories of everyday occurrences in Spanish for different levels, and they just happen to be Mexican, so it's not like they're trying to really teach you Mexican Spanish, but you can hear how Mexicans speak by watching their videos because they speak with the Mexican accent, okay? Just like the United States has different accents, well, Mexico has the same thing, so I did my best separating the YouTube channels by accent. So these first few are gonna be from el DF, el Distrito Federal, or AKA Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico, okay? First and foremost, you guys probably know him already, but I love this channel. It's kind of a variety channel. He does like traveling videos while he gives you the history of things, and that's Luisito Comunica. I like his content, and you can hear his distinct Mexican accent. Besides that is Lisbeth Rodriguez, because for a while, I was like hooked on her show on Badaboom, Exponiendo Infieles. I think now she has a different name for it. Yeah, it's just called Infieles on her actual channel. And she goes up and, you know, has couples exchange phones, and sometimes it's a mess, sometimes it's not. I don't know, but it was interesting to me at a time. I don't really watch it anymore, but she speaks the Spanish from Mexico City, okay? Next we have, from the same place, Los Polinesios. And they pretty much do like travel vlogs and other kind of just like daily life vlogs, but it's very dynamic. But I believe they're from DF también. So those are the main sources that I know of from La Ciudad de Mexico. So if you want that accent, el acento chilango is what they call it, check out that content. And it's not just the accent, it's the words they use as well. They use certain words as well, which you'll see later in the video. So now let's move on to Tijuana. I found two channels from Tijuana. So the first is called Corte y Queda. And well, now I don't know what they're doing now. Now they're doing like kind of like some rap videos, but it used to be kind of more varied, kind of like skits and just different stuff. But the whole point is for you to listen to the Spanish. So it's Tijuana. I believe most of them are from there. And also we have from Tijuana, we have Take Uno TV. They're not active anymore. I think they haven't made a video in years. The content is still up there for you to access. You just go through their old archive, you know, see what they have there that would interest you. I believe they do skits and other things like that. Pero those are the Tijuana channels. All right, next, Monterrey. So they call the people from there Regios. We have Roberto MTZ. Roberto MTZ. It's hard to say that in English. Robert. How do you say Robert? Roberto. How do y'all do that without the Spanish accent? Anyways, he has a pretty good channel there. He just talks about different stuff. Like I said, the whole goal is to kind of find which region of Mexico you would like to imitate. You know, take the vocabulary from there, the way that the person speaks from there. And next we have from Chiapas, which is like El Sur, like kind of close to Guatemala, Diego Saúl Reina, who now he lives in Canada with his family, but he speaks that type of Spanish. But like I said, your goal is to listen to him, imitate him, learn vocabulary, things of that sort. So, hazlo. Next we have Eduardo Rosas. I know that everybody's not into the typical stuff that you see on YouTube. You may have other interests. So Eduardo Rosas, he talks about finanzas. He talks about finances in Mexican Spanish. I did all my research and I just couldn't find out what part of Mexico he's from. I would guess he's from La Ciudad de Mexico, but I could be wrong. Next we have Casa Verde. And I forgot it was on my list, and I didn't make this list a long time ago, so I don't know what the channel's about. So you tell me what it's about when you go look it up. But I put it on the list for a reason, so it must be pretty good. Another great resource for learning Mexican Spanish, or any Spanish in general, is the Bilingüe Blogs Spanish lessons. Guys, I don't just teach Dominican Spanish. I think it's a big misconception. I personally speak Dominican Spanish. But I know standard Spanish. I learned standard Spanish first, and I teach you whatever Spanish you want to learn. That's how it works, okay? So I would love to teach you. I would love to be your Spanish teacher. If you're interested or know somebody who's interested, tell them to sign up with me. I always have space available. Pero let's continue with the video. Vamos a seguir para adelante con el video. Now it's time to get into the books. I like to have tangible books when I'm like learning something. If you're like me and you want to have a tangible book while you're focusing on this Mexican Spanish accent, Mexican Spanish dialects, things like that, then here are my top books. Now, I have to let you know these are attached to my Amazon account. So if you click on the links with these books and get them from there, then I will get parts of the proceeds. So if you want to support this video, support Bilingüe Vlogs in that way, I would greatly appreciate it. Ya tú sabes que es lo que. So the first book is going to be Mexi Slang. And it's literally that. It's a book about Mexican slang. They have like 5 different ways to greet each other. Like what? ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué rollo? ¿Qué pasa? Like there's a lot of different ways that Mexicans greet each other. I think that's so cool. With books like this, you can find all these different ways that Mexicans speak. Also, we have the Mexican Spanish phrase book. If you're more into the phrases as opposed to just the individual words, then check out the Mexican Spanish phrase book. Okay, so now let's move on to the TV shows that you can watch to learn Mexican Spanish. My favorite, I love El Chapulín Colorado, El Chavo del Ocho. These are classic shows. You can find these on YouTube. They may get taken down from time to time, but you know, you can find them on YouTube. I watch them. It's horrible quality, but the words are still clear, so you may be able to just stream it somewhere too. I don't know. I just know that when I was learning Spanish, this was my go-to to get that comprehension. In a similar style, we have La Familia Peluche de Eugenio Derbez, creo que se llama. It's like the same type of thing, but more modern. It's like just a family. They have like their ocurrencias. I don't know how to say ocurrencias in English. It's bilingual problems, but they have like little adventures. So it's a pretty interesting show to watch as well. As far as anything else, you guys know that Mexico dominates las telenovelas. I think other countries may try to do it, but nobody does it like Mexico. You can go on Netflix to find telenovelas. You can go on YouTube to find some. I mean, just type in telenovelas in Google and see what you find, you know. I don't know any good ones because I don't watch them. I used to watch them because I was like, I only had access to those, you know, in Chicago. My family wasn't Latino, so that was how I kind of consumed Spanish. If you want some mediocre acting, and you want to get into the stories, look, and don't kill me guys in the comments, okay? If you watch telenovelas, that's your thing, pero para mí es como que no me llena, tú sabes. If you know of any good ones, leave them down in the comments, so that way people can know what to watch, what's good, what's not good. Now it's time to talk about the podcasts. So we have No Hay Tos podcast. It's 2 guys from Mexico, and they teach Spanish. They give you Mexican phrases and things like that. Actually, I had the honor of being on their podcast years ago. They interviewed me, and it was a good time. We had to talk, and you know, completely in Spanish. It was good. I liked it a lot. I really like what they do. You know, I wish that they were bigger. So this is my shout out for them. They need to go follow them. Okay, you got it? Tú le llega. Also, there's a podcast called Viva el Podcast Mexicano to talk about Mexican stuff in Mexican Spanish. Check it out. Then we have Hablemos Español podcast. It's just another podcast in Mexican Spanish. I'm a podcast person, so I like going through different podcasts. So these are all things that you guys can just look through. And if you like something a lot, then keep listening to that source. You don't have to really pay attention to the other ones, but if you do want to pay attention to them, then they're all there for you. And then last we have Doble G. Doble G is another podcast. I believe he just talks to other people. It's just conversations with other people, kind of like a Joe Rogan style podcast, but not, you know, because it's not Joe Rogan. But algo así, tú sabes. Now it's time for the TikTok people that you should follow. So remember I told you how I wanted to give you more Regio people to learn from. So I have the TikTok and the Instagram group set up by Regio and then Ciudad de México. Okay? Regio is just Monterrey. Entonces, de los regios tenemos danrosales.mx. Okay? He's just a singer, but you know, if you go to his videos, you can catch him talking sometimes, and the whole goal is for you to listen to somebody speaking that type of Spanish, pick up on the characteristics of the accent, pick up on the words that they use that are unique to that region, and you know, start to use them yourself. So check him out. Then we have Alex Garza B1, and he just does skits. He does skits. Okay, I like them. I think they're funny. So check them out. A lot of talking, a lot of Regio Mexican Spanish for you to listen to. So ya tú sabes. We have Soy Gaby Lee, who just pretty much documents her life, like her life as a girl living in Monterrey, Mexico. But if you want to know about Monterrey, you want to hear a girl speaking in Monterrey Spanish, check her out. As far as los TikTokers, Chilangos, we have hotspanish.mx. I saw him a long time ago, and it's great to see that he's still doing his thing. He does like social experiments. I think he does like sometimes pranks with his girlfriend y cosas así. But yeah, check out hotspanish.mx. Then we have the Estrada twins, two women who make skits, but they speak like the people from Ciudad de Mexico because they're from Ciudad de Mexico. And then last but not least, for TikTok de Ciudad de Mexico, del acento chilango, tenemos Daniel Barona MX. Okay, he's an actor. Check him out. Ahora vamos a hablar de Instagram. So on Instagram de los regios tenemos Poncho de Nigris. Poncho de Nigris is an actor. He's kind of like a reality star. Talks a lot, so I like it because it gives you a lot of chances to listen to how he speaks and to the words that he uses. Tenemos el regio tragón. Tragón means that you are a person who swallows a lot of stuff, aka food. This person talks about food. If you like food, if you're a foodie or you want to learn Mexican Spanish at the same time, check out El Regio Dragón. Next we have Glodejo. Glodejo is just an influencer, content creator. So yeah, I don't really have much to say there. It's just a normal content creator who talks with the Regio accent. And then we have Soy Regia, who's also an influencer. If you're into like, you know, that glam life, like beauty, aesthetics and like all that kind of stuff, this is your go-to girl to kind of listen to her speak and learn Regio Mexican Spanish from. Now for los chilangos, we have Bastian Delfin. It's pretty much a comedy Instagram account. That's all it is. I like to laugh, so of course I'm gonna throw some comedy on there for you guys. Speaking of comedy, we have Paquito_Maya, who is a stand-up comedian. You can check that out as well on Instagram, tú sabes. Okay, next we have Despegar.mx, and that's a travel Instagram account, and she, you know, talks about traveling. That's it. Despegar means to take off, right, on a plane. So ahí tú tienes. Now it's time to get into my favorite part, which is the written material. I'm very visual. I like to see things written for it to stick with me from my memory. So I learned a lot of phrases, a lot of words through written material, you know, through different kinds of dictionaries and books and things like that. So let me share some Mexican Spanish dictionaries with you. So you can start with bilingueblogs.com. I have a site there talking about, you know, the best resources to learn Mexican Spanish, but I didn't include all the stuff that I'm including for you guys today. It was more just the written stuff back then. So you can check that out at bilingueblogs.com, that article. Also, link's gonna be down in the description. Besides that, we have sites like mochilerostv.com. A lot of Mexican words, phrases to learn from that. We also have this Mexican slang page from psicologiaymente.com. Okay? Last but not least, we have livelingua.com, where they have this Mexican slang article for you to read. Those were the general Mexican slang dictionaries, but there is more. There are some that are more specific, so let's get right into those. If you want to learn frases chilangas, then you're going to want to check out this site here. It's going to be in the description. If you want to learn las frases y las palabras regias, you can check out chicaregia.com. This very article here has a lot of frases y palabras de los regios. And then we also have this site here that I'm not even gonna pronounce. You have it on the screen, it's in your description, but you have it available to you, okay? So that's another regio resource, okay? Those are the resources for you to learn Mexican Spanish. I wanna let you know that repetition is your best friend, so you're gonna have to look over these lists, watch these videos, listen to these podcasts, watch these shows over and over and over again for it to stick with you. And also you have to make sure that you are using it. You have to be using it in the real world. Add it to how you speak. Yeah, it may feel weird in the beginning because you're like, why am I speaking like this? I didn't learn this in school, or I didn't learn this when I was learning Spanish, but it's okay. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, but you're gonna be able to use those phrases and words, and they're gonna be second nature to you in no time if you keep using them consistently. Muy bien, if you liked this video, go ahead and share it with people that you know want to learn Mexican Spanish. It will help me out tremendously. Also, leave a comment down below with what you think of the video. Did I miss any resources? Did you learn Mexican Spanish in a certain way that I didn't talk about on here? If so, share that with us. We're a community, we're a family, tú sabes, los bilingüe blogueros, tú sabes, mi gente, estamos activos. Pero, all right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel, and nos fuimos.